Hello students, welcome back to my class Chemistry Gurukul. After a short period of span, I am back again with a new chapter and new topic of class 9 today. And today we will discuss children about atoms and molecules. Basically atoms, because that is the introductory part, and later on we will discuss about molecules also. But this topic today is very interesting because in this session you will come to know about how atoms were known and how it evolved. This concept was evolved because I have written and I have prepared one short story about that. Basically children have this query among them that how atoms evolved, how it came into existence. Okay, so let us discuss and let us start this chapter. Now coming to this board, you could see here I have written with colorful pens. Our topic today is atoms and molecules. Now sometimes question arises, how do elements combine to form compounds? Children, we have already discussed about elements and compounds in our previous chapter, that was is matter around us pure? And you have already this concept that elements and compounds in chemistry, they are termed as pure substances. Okay, so this thing which comes into mind of students, that how they combine to form compounds. Okay, sometimes these questions also arises, can we divide the pure form of matter, elements and compounds further and find the smallest particles of matter? Yes, it is possible. Okay, now we will discuss here how it came into existence. Some historical accounts I have written here about the divisibility of matter. Okay, first point is divisibility of matter was considered long back in India around 500 BC. The Indian philosopher Maharshi Kanad postulated that if we go on dividing the matter, ultimately we will find a smallest particle, that was termed as Parmanu by Kanad. Okay, and it was later on actually accepted by some other Maharshis also. But later on, around the same period, the ancient Greek philosophers like Leucippus, Democritus and Epicurus in 6th century BC suggested that subdivision of matter is possible. They term this divisibility, they later on call these indivisible particles as atoms. Okay, and why they termed atoms? Because in Greek, in Latin, the word atom means that it is an indivisible substance, it cannot be further divided. Fine, so I have written here, you can also note it down in your notebooks. The word atom comes from Greek word meaning something which cannot be split up, that is indivisible. Okay, however the ancient theories which I told you earlier, that was proposed by Kanad and Greek philosophers, were based on philosophical thinking. Actually that was not based on practical concept, that was, it was not accepted scientifically. Okay, now later on the philosophies or the theories which were practically based by it was basically done by Greek. Okay, so it was accepted later on. The major credit goes to Antony Lavoisier. Lavoisier is also known as the father of chemistry because he laid so many experiments. He also discovered oxygen which we are inhaling today. Okay, so all living organisms, they are inhaling oxygen. That was later on discovered by Lavoisier, and he was also known as father of chemistry. So what he did, he laid the foundation of chemical sciences by establishing the two laws of chemical combination. Okay, so in this chapter children, after the concept of atom, you will study two laws which are given by Lavoisier and Proust. Okay, so these two laws are very important as per your syllabus, and later on also it will help you in your higher classes. So one by one we will discuss. This chapter is very important for your syllabus. So concentrate on these two laws and try to understand. What was the first law? See, combinedly these two laws were known as laws of chemical combination. Why it is called as laws of chemical combination? Because These two laws will tell you how two elements combine and they form compounds and why they do so. Okay, it is experimentally proved, children. That's why you have been told earlier also that compounds and elements, they both comes under pure substances, category of pure substances, because the formula never changes. Okay, the ratio and proportion of their combination also remains same. This you will learn in these two laws. So first law is law of conservation of mass. When it was given in 1774 by Lavoisier. Now what is the statement of this law? According to this law, during any chemical change, the total mass of the product is equal to the total mass of the reactant. See, whenever you write a chemical equation, there are two things, reactant and product. There is an arrow in between, and left hand side of the substances, they comes under the category of reactant, right hand side it comes under the category of product. So it was seen and observed experimentally by Lavoisier that the masses of the reactants, means the sum of the masses of reactants, were always equal to the sum of the mass of the product. Here you can see I have taken one example, carbon and oxygen. When they combine, they form CO2. The mass of carbon is 12 grams, oxygen is 32 grams. Individually, if you will see that oxygen, atomic mass of oxygen is 16 grams. Okay, but here O2 is there, means one molecule of oxygen is there, that's why the mass is 32 grams. 16 into 2, so it will be 32 grams. So when you will add these two, you will get 44 grams, and here also it's written 44 grams, means the mass of reactant is always equals to the mass of product. This is the law of conservation of mass. And apart from that, children, always remember that conservation word itself says conserve. Okay, means there is no loss of mass. You can also understand it like that, the mass is neither created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. In other words also you can say like this. Okay, so this statement is also correct. Now second law, coming to the second law, that is law of constant proportions. What does law of constant proportion means? See, here also with the word you can understand, constant means it remains same, proportion means the ratio in which they combine. So what is the statement, and which in which year it was stated? It was stated in 1799 by J. Proust. Okay, so according to this law, a pure chemical compound is always made up of the same elements combined together in a fixed or definite proportions by mass. Okay, now what is the meaning of this statement? The statement says that whenever two elements combine together, they will always combine in a fixed proportion by their mass. For example, let us take one example of water. Okay, so I will explain you here, try to understand. Let us take example of H2O. This is a compound. Okay, this is the name of compound called water. So here in this compound, if you will take this water from different sources, suppose you have taken water from pond, from lake, from river, from sea, or even the pure water, that is rainwater, the formula remains H2O always. Okay, means the combination of hydrogen is to oxygen in terms of their masses, it will be always 1:8. Now you will ask, ma'am, how you have derived this 1:8? See children, you could see in the formula 2 hydrogen atoms are there. How many hydrogen atoms are there? 2. Oxygen atoms are only 1. So the mass of 2 hydrogen atoms will be 2 grams. Fine. And the mass of one oxygen atom will be 16 grams. Okay, so when you will do the division, you will find out the ratio. After cancellation, it will become 1:8. So the ratio of combination of two elements to form compounds, it will be constant in a given chemical compound. Okay, so this is the statement of law of constant proportions. In this video, I have described you up to these two laws. In our next video, children, we will discuss some numericals based on these two laws. So keep watching. Thanks for watching.